In this video, we'll show you how to replace your tie rod bellows boot. This is located in the front of the vehicle and behind the wheel. Let's get started. With the vehicle raised and supported, we can remove the lug nuts with a 21mm. And we can go ahead and remove the wheel. Before we can remove the outer tie rod nut, we need to loosen up the inner tie rod's jam nut. We can do that with a 21mm. We can remove the outer tie rod nut with a 21mm. If the stud of the outer tie rod starts to spin inside the nut, go ahead and use a 21mm wrench and then a 10mm socket on top. As we go to remove the outer tie rod, you want to count the number of turns. That way we can put this right back in the same place. Starting 1, 2, 3, and so on. 14, 15. It's about 15 turns. Yours may be different. Now we need to remove the jam nut. In order to do that, you want to hold the inner tie rod. I'm going to use a set of locking pliers. Now we can use the 21mm and remove the jam nut. At the end of our bellows boot, we have a hose clamp. Usually this would be a pinch type. Looks like we have a replacement on here. So I'll just use a flathead screwdriver. We can remove the clamp. Moving inwards on the bellows boot, we have another clamp on the inside. This one has a small tab up top. I'm just going to use a flathead screwdriver. We go ahead and break that free and then pull on the bellows boot. We'll start to twist and pull at the same time. I'm going to apply some silicone grease to the boot. We can do that on both ends. We can start to slide the boot over the inner tie rod. Now we need to get the inner portion of the boot onto the steering rack. We can get a cable tie onto the inner part of the boot. We can start to tighten that down by twisting it with some pliers. And then you can just clip the end off. Next, I'm going to use a hose clamp for the outer part of the boot. I'm going to apply some anti-seize to the inner tie rod where the jam nut will sit. You want to make sure to thread the jam nut on far enough that you can get your outer tie rod all the way on. Now we can thread the outer tie rod onto the inner tie rod, counting the number of turns, making sure to put it on the same number of turns as the old one. Once you feel it hook on, you can start counting. 1, 2, 3, and so on. 13, 14, 15. We'll remove the nut from the outer tie rod. And we can remove the plastic shielding. We can get the outer tie rod into the knuckle. We'll get the nut started on. And we can snug this down. And we can torque this to 111 foot-pounds. Tighten down the jam nut. We'll reinstall the wheel. And we can line up the lug studs with the holes in the wheel. I'm going to press in down at the bottom of the wheel, and we can install the lug nuts. I like to thread the first one all the way in, and that'll help hold the wheel in while I put the other lug nuts on. And we'll snug those down in a star pattern. With the vehicle on the ground, we can go ahead and torque these to 162 foot-pounds in a star pattern. Now take the vehicle for a road test down to your local alignment shop and have them perform an alignment. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.